It was a very busy day for our Minnesota Vikings today as we had to make a lot of adjustments to the active roster and add somebody to the practice squad. And that is all due to the fact that Justin Jefferson was placed on IR, which was officially announced today, or it was announced yesterday, but it became official today. And Tom Pelissero dove through all these moves, which make a lot of sense because, again, we don't have 53 people on a roster until these moves were made, so we had to make these adjustments. So what are the adjustments? There was a flurry of moves per Tom Pelissero. The Vikings have officially placed All-Pro wide receiver Justin Jefferson on injured reserve, and they did sign N'Keal Harry from the practice squad to the active roster. He wasn't the only wide receiver that was signed to the active roster. Tristan Jackson was also added to the active roster. That's because of the depth at wide receiver. Plus, I feel like we're not 100% sure what we're going to get out of N'Keal Harry or Tristan Jackson. And there might be a possible or a potential possibility that Jackson does return some punts and kicks because Brandon Powell's taken over that number 3 role at wide receiver. So we're going to see him on the field a lot more. So if you're a fantasy football owner and you want to go pick up somebody on waivers, Brandon Powell is definitely there for you to look at. However, I'm not sure how many points he's going to put up, even though we have seen him from time to time, especially last week when Justin was hurt. We've seen a couple balls get thrown Brandon's way, but that was the first one. Then also adding to the injured reserve, other than Justin Jefferson, backup quarterback Nick Mullins was added to the injured reserve because he's dealing with a little bit of a back injury, which is never good. I haven't thrown on my back personally, but I'm sure there's a couple people out there that have, and I've heard it is absolutely horrible to deal with. And Mullins has been dealing with this last couple of weeks, kind of something similar to what Bradbury, I believe, was dealing with last year, except minus the car accident and stuff like that. But Mullins was added to the injured reserve, which means that Jaren Hall, okay, 5th round rookie, is now the number 2 behind Kirk Cousins, and I really don't know what to think about that besides please stay healthy, Kirk, okay? Just please, dear Lord, stay healthy. And last but not least, Minnesota also signed quarterback Sean Mannion to the practice squad. If you guys don't remember, Sean Mannion was a Minnesota Viking just a couple years ago. We got to see him play a couple times when I can't remember who was the starting quarterback. I think it was still Kirk Cousins, because he has one of the tweets said that Sean Mannion has a lot of experience under Kirk Cousins on this roster. So I think it was when Kirk got hurt, Sean came in, played a couple games, and wasn't terrible, but he's the prototypical backup quarterback in the National Football League. So we made a lot of moves. It really doesn't seem like a lot, but, adding 2 players to the active roster to fill that 53-man, adding 2 players officially to the injured reserve, Justin Jefferson and Nick Mullins, making Jaren Hall that backup quarterback, and then adding another quarterback to our practice squad in Sean Mannion, because we want to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster because of that, 3 quarterback rules, or that new rule that they implemented this year where you can have 3 quarterbacks on the active roster. Even though he's not on the active, he is on that practice squad just in case another injury happens, and we're not really sure how long Nick Mullins is out for. He for sure is going to be out 4 weeks, because if you're on the injured reserve, you have to miss the next 4 weeks. So if Kirk goes down and Jaren has to step up, now we sign Sean Mannion to the active roster and stuff like that. So that's why that move was made. It doesn't look great for the Minnesota Vikings as of this point, but we never know what's going to happen this season. There's still a lot of games left to be played and stuff like that. So N'Keal Harry, not sure how many targets he's going to be getting this upcoming Sunday and the rest of the weeks going forward, but I'd assume he's going to get more than Tristan Jackson will, just because N'Keal Harry has been there, done that, former first round pick by the New England Patriots, even though he hasn't really panned out to be much of anything, kind of a bust, but he's still on an NFL roster. So I'm excited to see what we're going to get out of N'Keal Harry. Depending on how Brandon Powell does, I don't think he's going to do that great. He's going to get a couple balls thrown his way, but right now it's going to be the Jordan Addison and KJ Osborne and TJ Hawkinson show, and that backfield. Alexander Madison, Cam Akers. Hopefully we get Cam more involved this week. I think we should, just because Madison, he typically follows where his blockers are going. Like last week, the right side of the line was always clogged up, and every time we ran over there, Madison just basically V-lined towards that right side following the blockers, where when Cam Akers had that same situation, he bounced back over the middle, was able to get a couple more yards than what Madison was capable of doing. So I'm interested to see what happens this week with the new active roster and what it looks like and how we're going to go forward trying to win some ball games. And the Chicago Bears are no joke, especially if they get going and find that momentum, start moving and grooving down the field with DJ Moore and Justin Fields. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm excited for it. season's not over. Long ways to go yet. You guys let me know in the comments what you think about these moves. Also, drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. Have a great rest of your night, folks, and Skol Vikes.